Okay, in this video I'm gonna show you how you can go and make this mandala in a matter of, what shall I say, 15 minutes maybe. And you can expand on it as much as you want, and you can use it for different purposes. You can use it as a quilting block if you so desire. You can also add way more decorations than instead of only staying with a running stitch. And this one I converted to a redwork. So I'm gonna show you now how to go about that. So closing out of that, and I have that design still here on the screen, so I'm gonna drag that out of the way and I will go and delete it. So if you're working off an image, or if you're working or create one out of the blue, it is all possible. And I was given this image and was asked how this can be done. So first the thing was, I did not get my image completely positioned properly, so I went and I positioned my image first properly so that I was able to drag over a guideline, a horizontal guideline and a vertical guideline. And all I wanted is that they would match up with a certain section of the design. Then I looked at the design and said how many repeating positions are there, and we can see here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 repeating positions. So all we need to do is create a sixth of the design, and it will automatically repopulate and filling up everything. So how do we do that? Well, also I got this image on a separate layer, and I put a layer above it, and I'm gonna be working on that layer. So you can do it in another in the same layer, that doesn't really matter, but I got a few other things what I'm gonna show just a little part of on how you can decorate your design after the creation. So we select the layer where we're gonna work on, and then I'm gonna go to my Bezier tool, and I want to make sure that I only have a stroke selected, and we can see that here in the top right corner on what the selection is of the Bezier tool. Then also what I'm using is I use the snapping or magnetism, whatever you want to call it, and I have that turned on so that all my lines will be connected properly and line up as good as I can get it. So then with the Bezier tool I will zoom in a little bit, and I'm just gonna start making connections from one intersection to another, and you will see I could have gone and go right away there and there, but for one reason I want to be able to afterwards that I can split all my separate pieces all into individual pieces, because if I want to make decorations on it, that can come in handy. And also for using the redwork, it will also be advantageous in my opinion. So here now too, with the magnetism turned on, you can see where the following node is going to be positioned, and it's set there connected to the guide. And whenever I'm seeing then a cross, then I know it is attached to it. And sometimes we will have to zoom in a little bit extra in order to get the proper snapping going. And so yeah, now I either have to press the escape key in order to deselect this line, and if I want to continue from that point, so either use the escape, or I'm just starting at a different point and make the connection. So once I have created a few of them, then what I will go and do is select all my objects. Just to make you aware too, I went and locked the image in place, so we will not be selecting the image accidentally and move it and drag it. So the image is locked in place. So now I got these objects selected, and maybe I'll go, it might be easier visible with a different color on the screen. So I got those selected, and I will go object and group. So this is now one group. Now I will have the group selected, and we apply a path effect. We go to the down arrow, and the path effect is called rotate copies. That's where I will set the number of copies, and that is all I need for this. Then I will go to the node select, and now you will see two handles or two nodes on your screen, and with the one you can stretch out your design, and the other one that will move the rotation part. And to get it lined up, we will be zooming in, that I'm dragging my point all the way to the guide intersection. There you can see it snapped to the guide intersection. And as you can see, now that I'm zooming out, now I have my 6 parts. Then what I will do is I will go back to my group. That is always, I click it always on the wrong side. So you want to make sure that you then select your group, and if it is selected as a group, then you have the dark color. I have the dark blue. But now for continuing creating, I want to enter the group. So I click on it again, and you can see now it is a dim blue. So now I have entered the group, and now I can continue with my Bezier tool, and you can see the little X's, so that is the snapping, and I can continue drawing my lines, and you can see it instantly puts all the connections in all the other parts of the design, so it fills in automatically. You can, if you so desire, you can create multiple groups and work with multiple groups, but I'm not gonna go there this time. And sometimes what you can have is that your snapping is not aligning or wants to snap to a different point than where you would like. So sometimes you may have to turn off your snapping to make it work the best. And some of the things, like there are curves on it, I'm not gonna go curve them this time. I'm just gonna keep it as some straight lines. And as you can see, whenever I press the right mouse button, it will enter. So, and then a few little lines here, and there you can see now we have instantly, in a matter of a few minutes, and we have a mandala. Now a few important aspects of how I should go and select the group, and I can change the strokes size for a moment. I'm gonna go to a one that is just for visibility, not that it really matters. And I'm gonna set the stroke color for the group right away too. Then it is right away visible here in the bottom corner. Now, in order for redwork to work, you cannot leave the path effect activated. The path effect needs to be taken out of it. I tried it a few times by leaving the path effect on and then tried to run it as the redwork, but I have 4 or 5 times that I've tried it, and every single time Inkscape freezes up, and I even had one time it shut down my whole computer. So, and then it is a matter of just restarting, and make sure that you save it at a certain point that before. So once you have it created, make sure that you do a save, so that just in case if Inkscape crashes, that you are gonna be able to start from where you left off. And I'm just seeing there is one spot yet what I forgot, so we'll just quickly create one. There, now we should have everything complete. So now we have to take off the path effect. So how do we do that? Well, we can select the group, we go to the path effect, and then your path effect will open, and then we go the down arrow and we go hit the flatten. So now the object is flattened. Let's see here, but we want, because if I'm selecting this one or that one, that is still from somewhat from the path effect. So if I drag this one out of the way, you will get, you will see, oh, edit, undo. No, it won't. It is jumping back on the group again, so I'll undo it again, make sure that I'm staying in the right place. It is, oh, if I go there, I had to enter the group, it was jumping back to the group. There you can see that I have certain lines. One specific line what I drew, and that rotated around in the design, and so that is what is as one path. but we want to go and break all these apart. So we'll go and undo the dragging it out of the place for a moment. This also can give some issues, but it hasn't been too bad. But I just want to make you aware there is a possibility. So if it flattened out properly, then what you can do is then do a break apart, and then it may take a few moments, and then you can see all of a sudden we have a whole list of, if I select it, now I have a total of 174 objects. Now I can have all these objects selected, and I can go extension, ink stitch, tool stroke, and we can go to the redwork. There we can set connect lines below this distance, so you may have to enter a value there. The minimum path length, that can be a needed number, because say right in the center there is a short segment. If this number is too high, it will leave out some segments. So if you see that you're missing some parts and pieces, then go back to your redwork setting and check your minimum path length. And then for your redwork, you're setting your stitch length to your preferences, because some people, they like to use it for quilting, and then you want to use, most people for quilting, they use anywhere between the 2 and the 3 millimeters. So there is a variation of preferences. And also there is a possibility of setting it as a triple stitch, and then you would end up setting here instead of a value of 0, you would change the value to a 1, and it would become a triple stitch with, and then you get the undersewing, or the undersewing, yes, basically the travel stitches underneath it yet. And because it is redwork, everything is gonna be consistent, so you will get in every single place you would get 4 stitches. So I'm leaving this at just a single running stitch, and we'll go and apply. Then we can close this window. Then in the layer we will see a group inside the group. What I most of the time do is I will go and ungroup one segment or one group, because otherwise it is harder to select your objects back in the group again, because then there is an option. You can go here, right click on your group, and then you can go click here, enter the group, or if you don't do it here, double click on the group, and then you automatically enter the group. So now I have entered the group, and now I can go and select my segments, and so yeah, I will go and drag one out of the way here for a moment, just to show you there is another stitch underneath. You can see there is a dotted line underneath, and the reason for that is the redwork underpath. That is, each path section is numbered with redwork underpath, and that is, You can see that over here, and those are all dotted lines. So I will go and put that line segment back in its place. So now what can be done? We can, if depending a little bit on the size of the design, but for demonstration purpose I don't really care on the size of my design. I just want to show you what is possible for decorating. So I got here a line segment, and you also want to keep a little bit an eye on the direction arrow, because with the redwork it is possible that certain line directions are going the opposite. Here you can see this one is going down, and this one is going in the upward direction. So the next step what I'm going to show is we can start decorating something like this if we so desire. And what do we use for that? We use motif stitches for that. With motif stitches, because these lines are going here and there in different directions, you want to be considerate on what kind of motif you are going to be using, and where your start and stops are for your motif. You can use the same motif, but then you have to, if the line goes in the opposite direction, you will have to go and flip your motif. So now I'm going to go a little bit to I'm going to go to a sheet with all kinds of motifs. You can create as many motifs as you want. It's all unlimited on what you can create basically. But a few things where you always have to be considerate about is that your starting point, so what you see here is the blue spot, the blue rectangle, that is a starting point, and the red is an end point. So you always want that your starting point and the end point are on the same level. Well, that is really easy to accomplish and align those points, and I will show you in a moment on how to do that. And then from that point on you go and create a stitch point plan, and you travel back at certain spots. You will have to travel back on the same line again, and then you come to your end point. So you can create, as you can see in this piece of I gotta zoom out, just on this piece of paper or this image, on what kind of designs or motifs you can create. It's unlimited. Sometimes we'll have to make adjustments. Most of the time what I will do with if I have a motif, I will go and apply a manual stitch. So now we're coming a little closer here back to I have to unlock my group there for a moment. Because I did not want to get things mixed up. Let me see. Let me do a simple. I'm gonna use, just for demonstration purpose, I'm gonna use here a little motif, and we're gonna apply that motif onto our on a line segment. And I'm only gonna do it on maybe one or two segments. So let me widen the stroke a little bit. I'm gonna zoom in a little further. So there is the motif. So like I said, you want to be considerate on how large of a motif you are creating. So this one is pretty big, but that doesn't matter. I'm saving my motifs all in a separate SVG, and then I just copy and paste them into my design where I want to use them. And when I'm done with it, I will go and just delete them out of there again. But I still have them all in an SVG. So then here we can see on how this is created. You can see this node lines up with that one, and if you're not sure if they are lining up or if you want specifics to line up, what we do is select our first node and we select the last node by holding down the shift key and select those two, and then we go to the align and distribute. If you don't see the align and distribute over here on your right hand side, all you need to go is to your objects tab and go to the bottom, align and distribute. So with those two nodes selected, all we need to do is click here on select, align the selected nodes to a common horizontal line, and instantly those two will be aligned with each other. And the center one, we want it on the same line too. So then what you do is you just drag a box over them. All three of them are selected and set them on the same line. The same with here, these top ones, in order to keep a consistent look throughout the design, and that one side is equal to the other side. You could just select two nodes and align the nodes with the first button here. And let's say you want to have this last one, you want to have that one aligned with this last one, then you will select the second one because that will align them on the vertical line. So now that we have our design, now I'm going to go and select the object and I'm going to shrink it down. And my stroke did not adjust accordingly. That is a matter of changing one of these icons. So if you're shrinking down, you can have that your line width will automatically shrink, or it can stay the same. That's one of these four icons here on the top. But okay, now my design is, well, that's okay, 1.3 by 1.2 millimeters. Let's go with that and we'll see how it turns out. So then, now that I have it selected, I will right click on it and I will press copy. Let me see, now I gotta go to my, and we want to apply that to this line. So because this is in a group, now that I selected, I'm selecting a group, so I gotta go inside the group. You can either go right click on it and then enter the group, or I can just go double click and then a single click and I'm in the group. So now I have a segment selected here, and we will go to the path effects again, and then we go click on the down arrow and we go pattern along path. Then we see nothing happening, and that's all fine. Then here we go to the paste path, and as you can recall, I took a copy of that motif. So we will be pasting that motif here. We see a change here, but that is not the desired change what we are seeing, because that is the pattern copies is set at single stretched. So we go to the down arrow and we have to go to the repeated. And I probably have to change the stroke, and I guess I made it a little bit let me see here. It will get better in a second. My stroke width, if I change all my stroke widths a little bit, it will become better visible also. So we can go back. Oh, I have to deselect here for a moment. Now I can select the line segment again, and there we can see that the object got applied. Now we can go the width. So if we're changing the width, that is basically what we're doing is we are resizing the size of the object. Then what we can do is we can apply a spacing, but with the spacing what can happen is that you when you run it into the player in the simulator, that you will see that there are all jumps, but that can be avoided, and they can be converted quite easily, and that depends on a few settings within Inkscape also. So that is why we have to be considerate also on how we are creating our motifs, on how does everything line up. And here we can see the start point. And it will automatically, if you're changing these start points and the spacing, it will automatically take a design away on where it's gonna end up. So like instead of having 10, and now I increase the spacing, now I increase the spacing, and then the number of motifs will change also. As you can see, I'm decreasing the number, and it will add more parts to it. Okay, and then once I'm happy with it, then I will just go and leave it at that. Or I forgot one thing. I didn't do that. I should have done that first. But you can make quite easily adjustments. So if I go here, extension, ink stitch, params, on my motif, I will go and apply a manual stitch. Oh, it looked like it was applied, so, but just to confirm, so that is applied, so then automatically it should be applied to the line object also. So if we now go and I should move. I gotta zoom in first in order to be able to select the object. So now I can go and select the whole mandala again, or whatever you want to call it, and we go extension, ink stitch, Visualize Simulator. And it takes a few moments. Oh, I should go and I'll change the color for a moment. Oh, that is okay. I had an error, but that is probably because I was closing the simulator before it had finished playing. So we'll go back here to the Inkscape, visualize and export simulator. And there you will see everything still keeps on showing continuously. And you can see those motif stitches, they got implemented without any problem. So like each little circle, what you see, that is a stitch point. And there you have, just like that, and you have created yourself from a really simple plain running stitch, and you can go and apply motifs all the way around. And so be creative, and there's many possibilities. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at this, and if you have issues with creating this, just go and ask in the group. We know there's lots of beginners. I know there's lots of you guys are struggling here and there, but go and ask. That's why we have the group. Don't feel bad about that you make a big mess. Post it, and we can see how we can help you out. Okay, thanks for watching, and take care.